Hey, what's going on, everybody? Joseph Lombard, a.k.a. N2SC4R. Welcome to the very first weekly podcast with N2SC4R. I decided to do a podcast series for you guys. It's going to be mainly on Monday nights, unless if I'm out of town or just I can't do the show for whatever reason. But it'll mainly be on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. Welcome, everybody. Hope everyone's having a fantastic Monday morning. We will be discussing the Watkins Glen race, Chase Elliott's first career win, Brian Francis' DUI arrest, and then we'll talk about the upcoming race weekend from Michigan. But I got three other people that's going to be here with me. First off, Eric Estepp. He is popular for his Out of the Groove series, his stop motions, and definitely his NASCAR parodies stop motions. He's up to 70,000 subscribers on YouTube. Eric Estepp, welcome, buddy.
Very excited to be here. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. This is going to be fun. I always like to talk about NASCAR, and we got a lot to talk about today.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Next person is going to be KamikazeGames. He is very well known for his race reviews and definitely rants, too. It's very entertaining to watch at times. He's up to, I believe, about 29,000 subscribers the last time I checked him. But KamikazeGames, welcome, buddy.
Hello, good evening, YouTube. Let's get this party started. There's plenty to talk about, and it's going to get spicy in here.
Ooh, it's going to get spicy. Definitely. And last guy is Darian Gilliam. I believe that's how he's going to probably call me out for saying his last name. I can see he's already laughing, to be honest with you, but he is Black Flag Matter on YouTube. Last time I checked, I believe it's up to somewhat. I don't know how many subscribers. I checked a week ago, and I don't remember, to be honest with you. But he's known for uploading NASCAR bust on NASCAR drivers, or good season and bad seasons. Really good dude. Darian, welcome, buddy.
Hey, thank goodness you didn't say Darian Gilliam. I get that all the time. And also, I was gonna
butcher it.
And also, it's Black Flags Matter, not Flag Matter.
Okay, well, I'm a rookie. I'm a rookie here.
No, I'm a rookie. And then lastly, you were talking about subs. I just reached 4K last week.
Okay,
now up to 4,270 something last time I checked. So yeah, this is I got goosebumps because you introduced me. Like, that's a dream. I've been watching your content since 2011. So
my gosh,
it's awesome.
Such an honor. All right, well, everybody, like I said, we got W Dud, you got KamikazeGames, then you got Black Flags Matter. Got it that time. So, guys, yeah, welcome, guys. We're going to discuss Watkins Glen. Let's go from start to finish here. So, one at a time, Eric, what's your review of the Watkins Glen race?
I'll try to keep it short. I got in a little bit of trouble the other day when I didn't say that it was the greatest race of all time, because I had a lot of people commenting like, "What do you mean this is the greatest race ever?" And
now I'm already upset with you.
I mean, I get everyone loves it because Chase Elliott won, and it was a good race. I never said it was a bad race. I said it was a good race. It was a pretty decent race. But my point of it was, the last 32 laps, there was basically no change in the top five. Third place was more than 20 seconds back. And I'm not saying these are things that make a bad race. But my point is, if you replace Chase Elliott with Kevin Harvick in yesterday's race, people would be saying it was meh at best. It was a meh race. That was my only point. But I thought it was a good race. I mean, you didn't have any big wrecks, but we don't need that. It had a little bit of everything. Good strategy, great battle down the stretch. Last 20 laps were outstanding, and obviously a feel-good winner. So it was fun.
All right, now KamikazeGames. I usually watch your race reviews, but I don't think I've seen one up from your channel yet. But what's your take on Watkins Glen?
Well, as I said in the video that I posted earlier this morning, I have something bigger that I want to put out before then. But what I want to say about this race is how genuinely good it was. Like, from the first three, I said on lap 3. I tweeted like, okay, so it's lap 3, and this is probably the best race of the year so far. And to be honest, it was a good race for this year's standards, let's say. I'll be honest, while I was super bummed that Truex didn't finish the race with enough fuel, that was still a phenomenal finish.
Yeah. Sorry, I mean, I love Truex too. Don't get me wrong, he's a good guy, but like, not this time. Not
But you
yet.
see, hang on though. This is the changing of the guard. I hope you understand, because
Okay.
this race was Truex's 4th second place finish this year. It
Ooh,
begins.
yeah.
It begins.
But the thing is, he has wins though, so you really can't call him a Chase Elliott either. So, yeah. So, do you really call him the next second place meme or something? To me, I don't think so. You know, he's got wins, but you see, the only thing I'm upset about Chase Elliott winning is that the memes are dead. Because even though I'm a diehard Chase Elliott fan, I'm upset that the memes are dead because they were fun. And they just got, for now, maybe he'll win in their 2.5, 3 years. I don't know. Maybe he'll get 11 more runner-up finishes. It can happen. I hope I'm wrong. Definitely. But yeah.
What I'm most disappointed about is that I had less than 24 hours to make the joke. How much you want to bet Bill Elliott wins again before Chase does? And I know,
dude, I wouldn't be surprised. That would be cool. I wouldn't mind that. To be honest with you, that'd be absolutely cool to see Bill Elliott in his return win in the Xfinity Series. But then maybe at the same time I'll be a little upset. I don't know. As a Chase fan,
if he does, would people call him a leech?
You can't.
I can't. No.
He hasn't raced in 6 years.
He's a Hall of Famer, though. I mean, I'm just saying. I'll bet somebody out there will.
Yeah.
He hasn't raced on a road course since 2007. Fuck him.
Yeah, that's true.
If he finishes top 10, I'll be shocked, to be honest.
I think it'll be cool. I just want to see him race. I'm just excited. I mean, Road America. When I first saw this news, I was in shock. I was stunned. I didn't think we'd see Bill Elliott back in a race car ever again. But just hearing this news, it's like, what? I was so shocked, man. But I'm excited at the same time. What would be really cool if Chase Elliott gets a ride in the Xfinity race that day too? Have a father and son competition.
I think there's a chance that he might spot him. That Chase might spot Bill, like Bill spotted Chase yesterday.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. All right. So that was your review. Black Flags Matter. What about for you, man? Talk us through about your thoughts about the Watkins.
I mean, the whole weekend, beginning, or I guess I could start on Wednesday. You know, I was laughed at. Was said I was on drugs when I picked Chase Elliott to win. You know, I was like, you know, completely ridiculed for that on Twitter. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, look at her! He's like, what is he doing?" But you know, obviously, y'all didn't watch the Sonoma race because he was killing it in that race. Got a top 5 finish. He had the most points and stuff, and I had him on my fantasy team that day too. I was like, okay, like, you know, because he shocked me when he qualified 4th for that race. So I was like, wow, like. And I said that day he's gonna win Watkins Glen, and then I said it for real in front of everyone, and everyone was just laughing, like, so funny. But you know, I stuck to it and stuff. Then practice and qualifying started, and then everyone was like, oh, he's pretty fast, like, but he's still not gonna win. And then, you know, I doubled down when on Twitter that morning, yesterday morning, I was like, yeah, but you know, NASCAR Twitter is gonna blow up when he wins, and you know, everyone was like, dude, he's not gonna win. Still, he's not gonna win. Then the race starts. It was a crazy start. It was a crazy start, by the way. Like, everyone was bumping into each other, and I was scared for a second because when Joey Logano ran into the back of Kyle Larson, my thoughts were that could have easily been Chase Elliott. His day could have been done right there because, you know, everyone was bunched up. So his day could have been done right there. And then I was watching it with my mom, and even she was like, yeah, and even yeah, we watch NASCAR every Sunday, and even she was like, saying, dude, Darian, you're going to look stupid when you don't win, like when he doesn't win, because you keep doubling down on it. You know, in the first stage, he pits. He was running in the top 5, though, so I'm like, okay, that's good. Then the second stage, as soon as he passed Kyle Busch straight up for the lead,
oh, yeah,
I was like, nah, dude, it's done. He's going to win. It's going to win. It's over. It's over. And then I was saying that on Twitter and stuff, and my mom was like, you're an idiot because he's not going to win. You do this all the time. Like you're an effing idiot because he's not going to win.
Well, she's not wrong, okay?
Because, like, she was like, you do this all the time. You jinx drivers all the time. Stage 2 is not even done. Then he wins stage 2. I was like, he's going to win. He's going to win it. He's going to win it. And then the final stage comes, and his car is still good and stuff. He ends up, he keeps driving for the lead and stuff like that. But then Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin, they both had pit problems. I was like, no, it's over. It's over. I mean, there's nobody in his way. He's got to win. Then Truex came, and then all the Chase Elliott fans were like, oh, here we go again. We're about to finish in second place again because Truex is going to eventually pass him. And I was saying this on Twitter. I was like, no, he's using up all this stuff. Like, don't believe it. He's not going to catch him. And wouldn't you know, with 5 to go, I was like, oh, he's going to win it. He's going to win it. Then the white flag comes. I was like, me and my mom, I was like, oh, it's going to finally happen. And then for some reason, he wheel hops. Will hops in that first turn. I was like, what are you doing?
I know.
What are you doing? And my mom was like, oh my God, and stuff. And then Truex messed up. So I was like, like, okay. Then he stayed out front. And then Truex runs out of gas. So either way, he would have won the race either way. So I mean, just saying. But then if that would have happened, there would have been an asterisk beside it, like, well, he would have lost anyways because he lost the lead heading into the first turn, so he would have lost if Truex had enough gas. So, but thank goodness he held him off, and we don't have to hear about those excuses all week. Then Chase Elliott makes NASCAR history. Finally gets career win number 1. And, I said it would happen. And I wasn't surprised at all. I was just wanted to kind of gloat about it for a second. I was like, hey, I told y'all it would happen. So,
Chase has been good the last couple of weeks, too. You knew
I think that 9 team has found something the last few weeks. He ran good at New Hampshire, got a stage win there, and he ran good at Pocono, got a stage win there. I had a feeling ever since New Hampshire, I'm like, this team has found something. And then I was thinking a few weeks ago, if this 9 team does not find anything by the end of the season or even have a win at the end of the season, it's just going to surprise me. But they have found something, that 9 team. I wouldn't be surprised they're going to maybe even get another win later on this season. And maybe, who knows, if they keep up the consistency and the momentum they have now, see them maybe get to the round 8, maybe as far as to the round of 8. But no, I feel like the 9 team has found some speed for sure. It was good. I knew ever since he passed Kyle Busch in that second stage, I'm like, oh man, Chase has.
It's the real deal.
Chase got a shot. He's got the car.
I was telling my Chase Elliott fans, like, man, the Chase Elliott fans, man, today's the day, guys. Like, rejoice, it finally happened. So. That's awesome. I mean, it was just awesome. Just that whole weekend was just seeing him run up front and stuff. And that whole Hendrick team, though, they've definitely turned the corner, especially the 9 team, 24. I mean, William Byron, he finished 8th. So, I mean,
William Byron has found a little bit of sun. I feel like they still need a little more work, but I feel they're getting there. They're not 100%, obviously. And I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think the 9 team is even 100% either. They just had a good car yesterday. But I know they have definitely turned things around for that 9 team from the start of the season to now. I mean, the improvements they have shown and the momentum they have, it's just been an improvement. But I feel like they still got a little more, especially for the ovals, find a little more speed, a little more, find something in that car. But if they keep it up like they've been the last few weeks, I feel they're going to definitely improve a little more each week on the ovals for sure. They still got another road course race to go. Obviously, it's the Roval, and that's definitely an unknown race for sure on how that race is definitely going to turn out.
He's going to win that one too. Guarantee it. Turning the bank. He's going to win that one.
As long as they don't lose brakes going into that tie barrier like William Byron.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
But no. But it was cool, and I knew ever since Hamlin and Kyle Busch had that pit problem, I'm like, Chase, this is your race now. I swear to God, if you do not win this race, I'm going to lose it. I'm just going to lose it. Then he almost blew it in the final lap when he overshot turn 1. Thankfully, Truex ran out of gas. Truex could have easily passed him if Truex didn't slide off turn 1.
Oh, yeah, dude. If he didn't win that race because of that choke, or if the team made a mistake on pit road or something like that, then they're all ripe for criticism. They would have been grilled today if they didn't win that race. They would have been completely fried on the stove and stuff. Then they would have just I can't even imagine. But thankfully, that didn't happen. Chase Elliott's I was about to say Winston Cup winner. He's a Monster Energy Cup Series winner. So rejoice.
Where are you living in? My goodness.
All right, so there's another thing I do want to talk about. Obviously, you mentioned from start to finish, the race had drama in it.
Yeah.
It just and a lot of reasons too. But yeah, the first few laps was just already aggressive. I'm like, guys, it's only lap 2, and they're racing like it's the overtime restart of the final lap. I mean, it was crazy.
That start looked like a great checkered.
Oh, I know, it was insane. And then there's something I do want to talk about: the Joey Logano incident. I don't care for Logano, but I feel so obviously he got some damage. He hit the back someone because someone checked up in front of him, and he got damaged. I guess his oil cooler, if I remember. He damaged some of that. He went off the track and got damaged from that too. But they came on the pit road thinking, oh, it's a mechanical thing. And they didn't think they were on the damage clock. They just think it's a mechanical repair. But NASCAR told them that the clock expired, and the 22 team is just confused and just like lost. Like, wait a minute, we never got told we were on the damage clock. So they were all shocked.
That was
so.
funny.
I'm thinking, here's the thing. Now, you guys have your thoughts on it. Do you think that was bad judgment on the 22 team, and they should have known they were on the damage clock, or do you think that was bad judgment by NASCAR that official or somebody in NASCAR did not tell them they were on the damage clock? Eric, you first.
I think I would put most of the blame on the 22 team, but I think NASCAR, you have a responsibility to make sure that they know that they're on the clock for sure. But this reminds me of last year at Richmond when there was that ambulance on pit road. Matt Kenseth ran to the back, had the exact same issue. I think his oil cooler broke, and NASCAR told him, they were like, but your ambulance was in the way. Nope, you're on the crash clock, and Matt Kenseth was screwed in that race. So in that case, I think Joey Logano's team need to be aware that obviously it's because of damage. It wasn't because of anything else. The only way NASCAR's at fault in any way is if they implied that they weren't, and then all of a sudden said you are on the crash clock. But I don't know. I think and NASCAR needs to be able to communicate with people, but at the same time, I think it should have been a no-brainer that the cooler didn't just blow up on its own. You ran into somebody. That's crash damage. I don't know. And people think I'm a Logano hater. I'm not a Logano hater. I actually really like Joey Logano, so I'm trying not to be biased when I say that. But you got to be aware, I guess.
All right. Kamikaze, what's your thoughts?
I just hate the rule. I just don't like the crash clock rule. I know why it exists, and I know what they're trying to do when they're going for it, but we've seen a whole lot of incidents that really shouldn't have happened, like everything that Kenseth did last year and a couple other incidents way back at the shootout, I think. But yeah, I just don't like the rule. I would just much rather that they could go all gung-ho, like when Austin finished, 6th in that one Talladega race, I think spring 2017, and that basically destroyed car. You can't do that anymore, which is kind of kind of sad. I mean, most cars that get destroyed that badly won't perform, but still, just to see stuff like that, just to see a car missing its door and a number made out of tape on the side, that's just fun. Okay. It's just fun.
All right, Darian, what's your thoughts?
Well, I got 2 things to say, my man. Number one, rules are rules. Yes, number one,
Two things, guys. 2 things.
Well, number one, rules are rules. Of course, I understand that. So the 22 team was at fault. And number 2, this is and number 2, this is a stupid rule. I didn't like it when they first implemented this in the 2017. I still don't. Logano's car, while it did have a lot of damage, they still could have repaired that car and raced for points. So, I mean, I guess my point is that why do we have this? I mean, it just makes no sense. I mean, it's a NASCAR race. I mean, it's auto racing. If you can fix the car, you're not going to win with that much damage. But I mean, you could at least make some laps, gain some more data for the team, for other road courses, and maybe gain some data for your teammates and stuff. I mean, you can still ride around. I mean, if more cars end up crashing out of the race, or leaving the race for whatever reasons, you can pick up more points for that and stuff, man. So I don't know. I guess maybe that's me just being old school, because, you know, I honestly didn't have a problem with it. But yeah, I have to agree with Kamikaze said. I mean, it's fun seeing what teams can do with torn up race cars and stuff. Then, like, you know, it's so torn up that, you know, you make a you know, you use the tape to make, like, you know, the number on the side and stuff. That's how torn up it is and stuff. I've seen that before. I can't remember who did that and stuff, but I've definitely seen that many times in the sport. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, rules are rules. I think the rule is once you hit pit road, it starts. So they should have known that. I don't know why they were all acting all surprised. I mean, it's said clearly. So, I mean, they should have known. But at the end of the day, I still think it's a stupid rule.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with most of you. Yeah, it's on the 22 team as well. And yeah, I can, you know, they know the rules. The rules rule. It is a stupid rule. I, for myself, do not like the rule at all, because you can have a driver that's trying to race their way into the playoffs. They get damaged. They can't even go back out there and race for points because of this damage rule. It's really dumb. Like, if, let's say, if Suarez, you know, if he had, you know, Suarez or anybody else outside that's trying to race their way in the playoffs, but they can't go back out on the racetrack after they fix their damage and gain some points. It's just dumb to me, you know? So I agree. I don't like the rule at all, but I would say that's all on the 22 team as well. They should have known. But, I mean, NASCAR should have maybe still told them, like, that, hey, you're on the clock, but it's still, I would say, it could go both ways. It could be both sides to this.
I just really quick wanted to point out something else too. I mean, I mean, in a way, this also affects, you know, the points and championship battles too. I mean, yeah. Just think about to the old days when we had consistent points. Imagine if somebody who was, you know, who was in the points lead and, you know, who ended up crashing out, you know, couldn't go back out because of this 5-minute rule. If we had this back then, just for example, Alan Kawicki, in those final 8 races and stuff, he wrecked, I think, at Dover and stuff, and he was able to get the car back out and get some extra points, which in the end were the difference in a way. So, yeah. I mean, think about it. You know, if we had this rule back then, I mean, Alan Kawicki's not a champion. Yeah,
that's true. I mean, 1 point could make a difference. Like, one pass on the racetrack, like one position gain in the final results can make a huge difference in winning a championship or not. I agree. I love if it was the old point system back then. That's what I love too. But that's why I do not like this damage clock at all. It's just a dumb rule. I'm sorry. I'm not a fan of it. It's terrible. I do love you know, they got the cars fixed up. You got the tape numbers on the side of the cars. That's so cool. But you don't get that anymore. You're right. You don't see a driver that could finish the race in like without a, let's say, front. All you see is like the engine, that no front bumper, none of that stuff. It's all cut off. You don't see any of that anymore, and that's so cool. It looks like a modify to me, and I think that's cool. But yeah, you don't see that anymore, and it sucks. So I'm upset by the rule, and yeah, I have to agree with all you guys saying about with the 22 incident. But yeah, so also another talk has been the Chase Elliott pit stop, his final pit stop of the race, where he took off with the tire changer trying to run to the other side. He clipped his tire changer. He went flying, landed on his butt, said safe. He's all good to go. But there were also talks that if equipment went out of the box there, and to me, that's a judgment. That's definitely a tough call to make too. I want to give you guys thoughts on it, Eric. If you heard anything about that situation there.
Yeah, I know there was a little bit of a controversy. The thing is, I don't know the rule. I know you can't remove the stuff from the box, but I did hear some people on Twitter, especially, defending it as, he was still holding on to it. He still had hold of it, and then people always throw in like, well, it's for safety reasons. That's what they tried to say when Jimmy Johnson didn't get a penalty earlier or last season or whatever it was for pitting outside the box, because they said, they needed him to change the tire outside the box because it was a safety concern if he left the box with unsafe with a tire that wasn't fully secured. And I'm like, okay, you can just throw safety as your like wild card for anything then. So I don't know the exact rule. If the thing leaves the box, is it automatically a penalty? Apparently NASCAR didn't think so. There's the conspiracy theorists out there like, well, they didn't want to get in the way of Chase Elliott, but I'm not going to believe that. I think NASCAR is usually pretty fair about most of these things.
All right, Darian, bye, whatever. See ya.
Not to agree with me.
Oh, sorry, I was just fixing my lighting really quick.
Oh, okay. I thought you hated me. Oh my gosh.
I still really do. No, just
walk out from the interview. My goodness.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
The disrespect on display.
I guarantee you, if I hated you at all, Eric, I would just tell you straight to your face right now. I wouldn't just run away.
Right, live on the podcast for anybody to know.
Anyway, that was the end of my point. I don't know the rule. Somebody please tweet me this section of the rule book that explicitly defines this part of the rule, and I will make a definitive stance from there.
Internet, his Twitter.
Yep.
Go to him.
Get on
You might banned, by the way. Who knows? What do you think, Kamikaze? What do you think?
I only saw the actual removing equipment on Twitter, so I guess that's just those small boxes. It's hard to see to begin with, but I don't think there's a penalty for removing crew members from a pit box. That might be in the rule book as well. But it's just the consistency problem. I mean, if Hamlin and whoever else, Keselowski, I think, were penalized for it, and it happened to Chase as well, then he should have been penalized. But I just don't have enough evidence to suggest that it actually went out of the box or it was actually out of control. So really, I'm just kind of going to be the fence sitter on this one and just be like, you guys have at it.
All right, Darian.
Like, I'm just gonna say it like this. So this is just me, according to NASCAR fans. So basically, since it was Chase Elliott, it's not a penalty. But if it was Kyle Busch, it's a penalty. You see what I'm saying? So I mean, trust me, if Kyle Busch was in that same situation, or Kevin Harvick or Martin Truex Jr., everyone would be calling for NASCAR's heads. Oh, they're inconsistent. But since it's Chase Elliott, well, that's the call. It's the right call right there. I don't know the rules exactly and stuff. I figured, he did have possession of it. It didn't hit the ground or anything like that. Did it? I think he held on to it the entire way and stuff. So
yeah, I thought, to me, as long as you have hold on the equipment, I don't think you penalized for it. I mean, the host? It would look to me, it barely went outside the box, but it seemed like the crewman even had it in his hand still. Yeah. I don't know either. I don't know the rule to it. I would love if NASCAR just releases the full rule policy to all NASCAR fans, so even fans can get an understanding of what their rule is. So maybe people are not like, oh, that was BS. They didn't penalize him, or like he should have not been penalized. I wish we can all see a list of rules for ourselves, so we can get more of a clarification and understanding of it, just so it doesn't make us think that NASCAR is just BSing about all these penalties and the rules and stuff and the consistency of it. But I feel like he still had control of it, of the hose, the gun and stuff. I wouldn't say there's a rule. I don't know that a crewman is out of the box. Because you obviously see crewmen, even with the tire holders, they try to go to the other side of the car. They're rolling that tire, even sometimes outside the box, just to try to get around the car. They're running outside the box too, and they never get penalized for that. So I don't think it's a rule for a crew member to go outside the box at all. I think that would be really dumb too. I guess a safety reason, but yeah, I think as long as the crew member has control of the equipment, I don't think it should be a penalty. I'm not saying this because I'm not trying to be a biased Chase Elliott fan. What I mean?
No, I agree with you 100%. He had it. He held on to it. He had full possession of it. Maybe now, if he had lost it, now I think we might have a problem.
If he lost control of the hose, if it came out of his hand and it's outside the box, that I can definitely agree on the penalty there. I don't care for a few drivers too, but I would even agree to the same thing that equipment did not go outside the box. That shouldn't be a penalty. I'm not like one of those NASCAR fans that's like, oh, that was stupid. He should have been penalized or this or that. Because, you know what? It could be the right rule. It could be the correct rule. and stuff. So I don't
But
really try to judge too much.
But do you see what I'm saying? Like, you know, I am 100% convinced that if that was Kyle Busch, Twitter would blow up. Oh, that's a penalty. Yeah. That's a penalty. That's 100% penalty. Because, but you know, since it's NASCAR's poster boy Chase Elliott, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being that. He's gonna win most popular driver. But I'm just saying, like, you know, since it was Chase Elliott, it's not a penalty in their mind. Some people they probably don't want to admit that, but I think that's the truth.
I think another thing too.
You know how we're talking about being in possession of the hose and keeping possession of the hose. It feels like we're talking about what's a catch in the NFL.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, but see, even I've seen tweets and replies of people thinking, "Oh, it should be a penalty if you run over your crew member and stuff like that." Honestly, the pit crew, they know what they're doing. They know they put their life out there on the line each and every race. It is a dangerous job, but here's the thing: this is the driver's instincts and reaction every time. Unless the crew chief tells them to go, they go when the jack drops. When the jack drops after they changed all 4 tires or 2 tires, that's their signal to go. Unless the crew chief says, "Do not go yet," and then the crew chief will give them the go ahead. But Chase Elliott's instincts, as soon as that jack dropped, he's going to take off.
He was hungry.
Whether the crew member is right there or not. Yeah, does Chase Elliott wants to run over his crew member? No, but you know he was in a winning.
He's got to go.
He's got to go. He's in a winning situation. If he waits half a second, that could be the difference whether he gets off pit road first or he gets out second or third. Seconds matter on pit road. I mean, so he took off when the jack dropped. That's usually the driver's signal to go. So yeah, it is dangerous if they run over the crew member. I get it. But honestly, to me, that should not be a penalty at all. I think that would be really dumb. I mean, it's just all reaction time from the crew member to the driver, all that. So,
and I mean, that wasn't even that bad. I mean, yeah, he got hit, but I mean, he kind of ran over and stuff. But I mean,
like this. He said safe. He was good to go, man.
But I mean, compared to what happened in F1 earlier this season with Ferrari, that's some of y'all know what I'm talking about. The guy broke his leg. I mean, he basically ran over his leg and stuff, and I saw that. That was bad. So it's fine compared to that.
Yeah. We've seen too many races won and lost off of pit road for us to change rules like that.
Yeah. I agree. But
NASCAR changes rules every day. So I mean, you never know.
Can't deny that.
I mean what Chad Knaus even said himself too. Is like, it's funny, you hear on NASCAR Radioactive sometimes Jimmy Johnson gets on radio saying, "So what's the new rule that I have to serve? What's the new penalty I have to serve?" Because they're not wrong. Sometimes they may just throw out rules during the race. I can and sometimes like
sounds like someone needs to pay attention in the pre-race meeting.
Yeah, or these phantom cautions that we used to see a lot.
Oh yeah,
like and what's even annoys me is like they throw caution out for debris, but they never show it on the broadcast. Like, where's the debris? Show us the debris. Are you sure that's not?
Well, that's the thing. There's no debris.
Yeah, there's no debris. They just throw caution out. You can even hear drivers on the radio say, "Yeah, I didn't see any debris." You know, especially the leader always says that. I didn't see any debris. So, yeah, I just don't. I don't think that's a penalty at all on Chase Elliott's the 19's part from that final pit stop at all. I feel like he still had control of the equipment in his hand. Yes, the hose went outside his box, but even you see like the tire changer, allowed, they run to the other side of the car. That hose is, it's obviously gonna yank probably to another box and stuff, but of course after they're done changing, they will pull that hose back to their box, and then the driver takes off, no penalty. But the crew members still had control of it, in my opinion. I would say no penalty.
Mm-hmm. Can we mention just how on top of things Chase's pit crew's been this year? Because wasn't that his biggest Achilles heel in like every race he almost won?
Oh yeah. They've been on top of it recently. They've been doing a good job. I mean, They did good yesterday. They did good on pit stops at Pocono and New Hampshire. They like I said, I feel like that 9 team has found something that can definitely help them throughout the rest of the season. Because we got Michigan tracks. I mean, we got the 2 mile at Michigan. We got the half mile Bristol Motor Speedway. We got Darlington. We got Indianapolis. I mean, there's a combination of tracks.
And then we got my hometown second race.
Oh yeah,
Vegas. So can't wait for that one. So
that's gonna be a hot weekend. No retail.
I don't feel bad for New Hampshire at all. Just for my city. So just saying.
So yeah, New Hampshire, not really my favorite racetrack at all. I just do not like it. Does not need 2 races a year.
Oh, Vegas is everyone's favorite racetrack.
Well, maybe. No. I guess. Maybe in your thought. I don't know what's inside your head right now. No, I've been to Vegas before. It's a cool track. Actually.
Yeah, you were there. You were there when I was there.
Truck race was good.
Yeah, you were there. Yeah.
Truck races are good there. Not gonna lie, night racing. I wish the night race was for the Cup Series too, man. I've
been saying that for years.
Have it for the second Vegas race, the playoff race at Vegas. Have it a night race. Save the day race for like the spring race, but let's have a night race at Vegas for the Cup Series.
Oh, but then again, I don't like night races being 1.5-mile tracks. I don't like Kansas being a night race. I don't like Kentucky being a night race. So I don't know. I was saying yes, and I was like, wait a minute, Vegas is a 1.5 mile.
Maybe just for a race or two. Let's just see how a night race at Vegas goes, and if it sucks, put it back to day.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe just for a race or two. I think it'd be interesting. There was something else I want to discuss. So guys, Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott, man. Here's the thing. If it wasn't for... this was another thing I was going to talk about. If it wasn't for the fuel issue on Kyle Busch, do you think Chase Elliott could have still won that race?
I think he probably would. I think he does because he had the track position at the time. Or did he at the time when Kyle Busch has issue? Who was leading? Was Chase leading at the time? Or
Chase was leading at the time and Kyle was a couple positions back.
Yeah, I think at that point, Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch had the best cars. I'd say they're arguably tied. One restart early in the race, Busch took lead and drove off. But then later, Chase Elliott passed him. But he didn't really get away from Kyle Busch. Busch was still kind of lurking, So I thought they were pretty equal. I don't know. I think it would have been tough for Elliott because he probably would have had to battle Truex and Kyle Busch. So it might have something could have gone wrong there. But honestly, Chase Elliott had the best car. And since they were mistake-free with the exception of turn 1 on the white flag, I think, it was going to be tough to beat him regardless.
Yeah, I think Kamikaze, what do you think? Do you think Chase Elliott would have still been able to hold off Kyle Busch?
It's really tough to say. I think it would have been a very similar battle as he had with Truex, but you see, Truex over his entire career has really never been that aggressive as to, use the bumper. I think Kyle easily would have used the bumper. I don't know if he had a fast enough car like Truex did, because Truex clearly had the fastest car there. But if Busch gets there, there's a very real chance that he bumps him, and who knows who wins from there. But it's tough for me to say. I'm going to be honest.
What do you think, Darian?
Oh yeah, that was one of my thoughts after the race. I was like, if Kyle Busch didn't have that problem, there was going to be a tremendous battle, but Chase Elliott choked in that last part in that first turn. I can guarantee you, Kyle Busch probably wasn't gonna choke either, and he was just gonna pass him and then just run away with the victory and stuff. I think the race would have been decided also in the final turn too. I mean, that would be up to Chase Elliott. Like, do I race him clean or do I use the bumper? So that would have been an even better finish.
Here's the thing: if Chase Elliott, he's going after his first career win, I guarantee for sure he would use that bumper for sure. Just the fact that he could easily maybe get his first career win. I think. I mean, we've seen the aggression Chase Elliott had all race long from start to finish. I mean, Chase Elliott, I feel he was the most aggressive driver on the racetrack, in my opinion. But I feel like Chase Elliott could have used the bumper on Kyle Busch. Would Kyle like it? I don't think so. But
that's what I was going to say. Do you really want to win your first race knocking Kyle Busch out of the way. Fans will love it. Oh my god,
Fans
I love the hell out of it. But Kyle Busch, he was already a little grumpy with Harvick knocking him out of the way a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if Kyle Busch is going to let anyone else hit him for a while.
Oh yeah, I agree. I feel like it would have been close. I felt there would have been a great battle for sure. It would have been definitely a close race between Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, but like I said, you've also got Martin Truex Jr. there, so it would have been maybe a close 3-car battle for this win yesterday at Watkins Glen. It was going to be a tremendous race between the three. Had Kyle Busch not had the fuel issue, Kyle Busch came from 31st to finish 3rd. That's still impressive.
Yeah.
That is Kyle Busch. That's Kyle Busch's talents for you, man. Say what you want about Kyle Busch, man. He knows how to drive that race car.
Oh, yes. Kyle Busch, one of the greatest drivers of all time.
That's going to make some people mad in the chat right now for you to say that. It is the truth. Guys, you got to admit, you can hate Kyle Busch as much as you want.
My mom hates Kyle Busch, and I always bring that up, and she's like, "No, he's not. No, he's not." I'm like, "Come on now, you can't argue with facts, Mom."
Did y'all hear he's about to tie Richard Petty with 200 wins?
I don't really.
My stress level is rising at an exponential rate right now.
We're talking about 3 series combined. He's got 192 wins. Not Richard Petty that he's got all 200 wins from the Cup Series. What are you talking about, Eric? Jesus.
This is what people have been telling me.
Podcast right now because of that.
Well, he left too.
Byron.
Kamikaze left too.
I'm just echoing what I hear other people say.
Look, Kamikaze, can we get a rant? Can we? Nice. He brought the salt out.
Oh, I thought it was bleach for a second. I was really worried.
No.
I thought it really offended him.
This is me.
Oh, but again, Kyle Busch, like I said, say whatever you want about him, hate him. He's I would say one of the greatest drivers in NASCAR history.
Sorry.
Right now. In this generation, Kyle Busch is the best.
I'd say I go as far as top 10 of all time. Easy.
Top 10. Top 10 of all time. Yeah, I agree.
Maybe top 5. Maybe you can make the argument. Maybe top 5.
You get right up there on the.
You can make the argument. I don't think he is, but you can make the argument.
There yet. If he could get 200, he will, when he gets up to 200 wins in all 3 series combined. Okay, maybe I'll move him up into the top 5.
I don't know. Who do you move out? Is he better than Jeff Gordon?
In this generation, okay. So now, guys, Brian France.
What about him?
What about him?
Who is
apparently,
this person.
He got arrested for DUI.
What? Who doesn't?
Yeah, he got arrested for DUI.
No,
I know. I'm in shock. The face of NASCAR, the CEO of NASCAR. The CEO of NASCAR, guys. The guy that people always complain about. The fool that he is. The Brian France himself arrested for DUI. That's a CEO of NASCAR for you guys.
Yeah, so this just a reminder.
Eric, you seem to be in disbelief, man. What's your thoughts? But I really want to hear your thoughts because I have no words right now.
Oh, yeah. Where do I begin? My biggest problem with this. I've made some tweets today. I've engaged with people. I think people get my opinion. I'm not going to sit here and just like hate on Brian France.
Can
excessively. I'm going to hate on.
Yeah, you can.
I'm going to hate on this specific action he did, and my biggest problem with this isn't that he drove while intoxicated and foolishly did that, had drugs he's not supposed to have in the car with him. I'm not going to just lay into him for all that, but I am going to lay into it because in my opinion it's selfish is what it is. If you have a problem, maybe you step down from being the face of NASCAR. The problem is now that you've gotten in trouble for it, you've brought everyone down with you. Now we're all like accomplices now to your bad behavior. And not only that, but your leadership has been questionable for some years now. I'm not the kind of person who hates on him like people say, oh, he's ruined NASCAR because he created the chase or because the Gen 5 and Gen 6 happened under his watch. Like that's all very, debatable. You can debate whether you like it or not. Some people like those things. Some people don't like those things. That's not why I think he's ruined NASCAR. I think the last few years, his lack of communication, his seemingly out of touchness with what so many fans have been saying. I see you're agreeing, Joseph. So I'm hitting all the right chords here. But like, it's just his general lack of communication with his fans. Like recently, he's been on he was on the XM radio like last week and didn't say anything. They were asking him a lot of questions about schedule changes and stuff. He didn't say anything of value that gave us any new information in any way, shape, or form. He's a closed door. And, in a day and age where NASCAR isn't what it once was exactly, we don't need a bunch of closed doors between management and the fans. We need an open line of communication there. And that was supposed to be his job. He's 100% failed at it. And unfortunately, the only time he ever makes headlines is when he's doing stupid stuff like this. So I'm not shocked. I'm a little shocked. Anytime you wake up and see that the CEO of your favorite sport is now in jail and has a mugshot online, you're a little surprised. But am I shocked? At the end of the day, this could be a blessing in disguise. Sure, we might lose some reputation now. Some sponsors might leave. A couple might leave here and there. It could be rough. But at the end of the day, this might be the end of Brian France and having major involvement in NASCAR. So in the long run, maybe this is going to be okay, but it definitely does not feel good in the short term. So that's my thoughts.
Kamikaze, I'm looking forward to hearing from you, man, because you love to rant. I'm really waiting to hear from you. So what's your thoughts on it, man?
Dude, it's just... I'm going to be the complete opposite on here and think this is something... I'm in disbelief. This is basically vindication for everyone in the sport, outside the sport, outside observers.
Jeremy Mayfield
especially, dude. It's this is what everyone's been saying for years. This explains so much. You look back at the awards ceremony last year when Brian stumbled across the stage and was like, "Here you go," and then he was up back again, and it's like, hello. You just presented the champion of your sport with his champion ring, and you're just going to sprint down the stage, hand it to him, toss it to him, and then run off? Mm-hmm. That's unreal. His actions over the years, this explains so much. And it sucks that it's a DUI because I know a lot of people in my personal life that have gotten DUIs, and they're like not bad people. But that's just such a dangerous thing to do. You know how many people's lives have been taken by stuff like this. But like I said in my video, 833 now matters. If you or a loved one is suffering from substance abuse, help is here.
Yeah, I have to 100% agree with you. So good thoughts. Darian, what about you?
Well, when I heard the news this morning, my first thoughts weren't like, my first thoughts were, wow, this is very shocking. I didn't expect this. And on the day after Chase Elliott's first win, we should be talking solely about that. But unfortunately, we had to hear this unfortunate news. My second thought was, what is the league going to do about this? Because at the end of the day, this is not just a sports league; it's a business, and it's obviously very bad business when your CEO and chairman is driving under the influence, not just of alcohol. I was shocked to find out a controlled substance as well, OxyContin. And we have a huge we have a very big opioid epidemic in this country right now. I remember writing a 20-page paper on it. And for one of my classes and stuff, it's just a really bad situation. And I'm just going to come from a personal side here as someone who has battled through addiction, not something like, as close as that. No, not to that degree. I can guarantee you that, I wish Brian France all the best and stuff personally. But at the same time, I have zero sympathy for somebody who is going to drive under the influence, because not only are you putting yourself at risk, you are putting others at risk. Rob Moroso is a big example. Guy was one of the up-and-coming stars in the late 90s. Guy makes a stupid decision and he kills himself and Tammy Williams, a mother of two and also a nurse. And the reaction was like all for just Rob Moroso. There was barely any sympathy for Tammy Williams. It was mostly to Rob Moroso, which was absolutely disgusting in my opinion, because, he committed that act. It was all his fault. I guess the other part is, concerning the league. Everyone was somehow for some reason surprised on Twitter when that Jim France, Brian France's uncle, was named interim CEO and chairman. I wasn't to the slightest surprised. 20 years ago, when Bill France was battling cancer at the time in the 90s, Jim France served as interim CEO and chairman while Bill France was battling cancer. And he assumed some of the same roles and stuff as well. So I think maybe he might be able to run this, sport better than Brian France did. But here's another problem I have is the statement that was put out. I was expecting a statement like, okay, Brian France is out. He's done. He can't come back, But the statement was he's taking a leave of absence. Now, that's a problem. Now, here's the problem with this. A leave of absence. Not saying this can happen, but basically, he could be back next week. I mean, a leave of absence. I mean, maybe this leave of absence could be a couple of days. Who knows? I don't think that's it. But I will guarantee you this: that if he is back in any sort of capacity running the sport, or just in any capacity in general, there's going to be a huge uproar from fans. I've said this myself, and a few other fans have agreed with me. And I know Jarrett would do this. Just boycott the season if he's back. I don't know. I think that was one of my first thoughts. My first thought was, if he is not out by this Friday, I might just boycott the season. Keyword might. And it's going to be probably the hardest thing I've ever done if I end up going through with it. But thankfully, I don't have to do that this week. So I guess we'll have to see what happens with that. And also, I guess another problem I have with is the media, specifically mainstream NASCAR media, not giving this coverage it deserves. I understand Chase Elliott won. I understand we have to give him his props and stuff like that too. But this is possibly the biggest story in NASCAR history. Think about it. We've had two of the biggest stories in NASCAR history this year. First off, the selling of NASCAR, the rumors going around there. That was a major story in early summer. And now we have this disgraceful act by Brian France. So I guess I'm going to close my opinion with Brian France does not deserve to come back. He shouldn't. It's bad for business. Sponsors are going to pull out, especially the alcohol sponsors too. I think they might just say, you know what, we're done with this. We don't want. I mean, because it makes them look bad too. Because CEO of NASCAR gets drunk, then driving under the influence. Hey, look, and then you show Budweiser or Miller Lite commercials during the NASCAR race. So I don't know. It just doesn't look good. But either way, I don't think he deserves to come back. He's been nothing but a burden to the sport on and off the racetrack.
I have to 100% agree with you on that. Oh boy, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the next week or so, or even like you said, maybe the next couple of days. So we'll find out. But Twitter, definitely NASCAR community, whether Brian France is going to be gone or his return, it's going to be an uproar either way. I think especially if he does come back as CEO, it's definitely going to be an uproar for sure.
Oh, and also just another point here. I'm sorry, just to interrupt you really quick. I just saw this comment. I totally forgot. Jim France did save, what was that league? IMSA, right?
IMSA, yeah.
Yeah, he did save IMSA. So, I mean, I think he could... I'd say let's give Jim France a shot, not just as interim. Just let him run the whole thing and see what happens.
Yeah,
I agree with you, but I just want to put this out. Jim France is old, guys. If we have him for the long run, he probably won't be around long enough to guide us. If he turns things in the right direction, he won't be around to see the fruits of his work because he's getting up there.
Yeah.
How old is he?
I think he's upwards of 70.
Oh.
Yeah, I would say around there too, almost 80. Yeah. So I agreed. I mean, I agree with you, Kamikaze, on that. So yeah, Brian France, you screwed up big time, dude. Better change your ways, man. Well, I never really liked him anyways, to be honest with you.
Nobody really liked him.
And then I read about this today. I'm like, yep, this is exactly what I expected out of Brian France. Obviously, the DUI part, okay, a little bit of a shock to me. But am I surprised? To be honest with you, no, I'm not.
I mean, just think about this. I mean, if any other driver had done this, they would be suspended indefinitely. Road to recovery
look at Spencer
program.
Gallagher earlier
Busch,
right?
Busch DUI loses his
Busch.
Yeah, Kurt Busch, and he didn't even deserve to lose his ride, by the way. He was completely fine. It was, I don't know. I wouldn't say that was more so, that was like, the team's fault or anything like that. That was more of the police in that area's fault. Just completely bashing him for no reason. I mean, he was just speeding. But I mean, I don't know. That's just unfortunate. And also you have to look at others. This is another major question. Who knew about his addiction for all these years? I mean, did everyone know about this? Did the well, obviously Kamikaze raising his head. I guess he knew about it. Did Mike Helton know about this? Did any drivers know about this as well? This is a moral issue, and this is what Jarrett, the Iceberg, was talking about in his video today. This is a major moral issue, and you also have to think as well. Look at all the drivers during his time under NASCAR's watch that have been either banned or suspended because of drugs. I guess the first guy that comes to mind is Shane Neal. He'll be on my bus series pretty soon. Aaron Fike as well. Jeremy Mayfield, definitely the biggest name on there. AJ Allmendinger. Yeah, AJ Allmendinger. And I guess Spencer Gallagher. Is there any other names that I forgot during that time?
Not that I can remember, to be honest with you. But you're right.
And then another hypocritical thing is the amount of DUIs that drivers have had and the amount of issues, and they're still allowed to race. For example, Travis Quaffel's domestic violence issue. He was still able to race that weekend. Kurt Busch is accused of it. He gets suspended indefinitely. He gets suspended the first 4 races of the season. I think it was the first 3, something like that. And then also, on the DUI side of it, Scott Wimmer had a bad DUI before the Daytona 500, and he was still able to race the Daytona 500. And he ended up
I forgot about that.
And then also Michael Annett, who. If you follow me on Twitter, I don't like. I don't know why Kamikaze likes him, but you know why I don't like the guy. He had a DUI, a head DUI before. I think it was the 2011 or maybe the 2012 season. He does not suspended. He's able to race. So NASCAR has been hypocritical with their whole rules for years, and this is very hypocritical. Now Brian France is the owner of the sport, gets caught with this stuff, and there might be a chance he's coming back. I noticed this in the show today. They had more of a softer tone with this. When Spencer Gallagher did this, Spencer Gallagher suspended indefinitely. He'll be, hopefully he'll be coming back and all that stuff. But then when Brian France says it, he's suspended indefinitely. We'll keep the more coverage of this. Hopefully we wish him a speedy recovery back.
Well, we've seen NASCAR's hypocrisy on track and off track. Like every week it's something else.
Yeah,
I don't know why they would handle this any other way.
I would be shocked if Brian France ever comes back to NASCAR as the CEO.
I'd be too.
I think there's a chance his family will still be involved. Well, obviously his family's still involved, but he himself will never again be CEO of NASCAR. And I am confident. In this day and age, we see so many people in power getting brought down by smaller things than this. A tweet can ruin your career these days. Driving under the influence while you're the face of the biggest motorsports series in North America, I think that's enough. You're not very well liked to begin with, and you're probably going to sell soon. You're not coming back. So I don't think if he ever comes back, I will be shocked.
And think about this. This could also potentially hurt the sell of NASCAR.
Yeah,
their value would go down because of this incident.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm no like Wall Street or money expert, but I mean, this is just me using common sense. They just potentially lost millions, in fact, maybe even billions of dollars in a potential sell to somebody because of this incident.
Yep.
Well, I would say obviously a lot of people never liked Brian France before. They for sure now, after hearing what happened today. Oh my gosh, that just sums up the kind of person Brian France is for sure after this news today. So I'd be shocked if he comes back as CEO. Will his family still be involved? I would say so, yes. But you're right about that. This could hurt NASCAR just millions of billions. Brian France, what are you doing to the sport? I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean that's just smart logic, right? I'm trying to sell something, so let me get in trouble. Let me just ruin the sport's credibility and just image even more. It's supposed to be a family-friendly sport. I mean, family-friendly sport, and then you just have a DUI problem. I guess the big question is who will take over. I mean, what are some possibilities?
Well, here's the thing. I would hope NASCAR definitely. And I hope they publicize this on social media. Put put it on social media. What is the drug policy? Like, you got to be consistent with that. They have a drug policy, but it doesn't seem like it's like. Are you sure there's a drug policy?
Yeah, it's confusing. It's honestly it's a very confusing one.
Put the NASCAR rules, put the drug policy on social media so the fans can understand what the exact rules are. And if you do put another rule in, put it out there too. Oh my God. That's why fans get upset with NASCAR and their inconsistency with rules. If we can at least get an understanding of what all the rules are and the policies, drug policies, whatever, that too. Okay, maybe we can kind of settle down a little bit on what NASCAR is penalizing drivers or teams for, but how are we supposed to know as fans what the exact rules are? Mm-hmm. You don't throw it out there for these fans.
It's more about communication.
Exactly. It's the communication. Yes, that is the one of the big problems with NASCAR.
Oh, come on, guys. It's NASCAR. They're not communicating to anyone.
I know, but that's the thing. That's the problem, though.
And you know what? It's sad we've gotten to this point. We've gotten to this point in the sport where, I don't know, it just has so many problems. The sport is so broken. And this just, man, I don't know. I'm not going to say it just completely shatters the sport, but it's damn near close to being completely shattered. So shattered to the point where you can't, the pieces are going to be there's going to be so many pieces, and it's going to be such little pieces that you can't put it back together.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to pump the brakes a little. I think we want to remember that this weekend has had two really big news events. One was really bad, but the other was arguably the best thing that's happened in about a year and a half.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Things are still at the end of the day, we're back at equilibrium, but bad, but I wouldn't say NASCAR's broken, but it's not. It was a little broke before this,
Right. Yeah. From yesterday to now, it's equal right now with the two big news out of the weekend. Chase Elliott, obviously, that was huge news. Him getting that first career win, obviously, and then of course now the Brian France DUI arrest. So it's it's kind of equal now. You got the good Chase Elliott news, and then all of a sudden you got the bad Brian France news. So it's equal right now. But
NASCAR's credibility is on the line with how they handle this.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Oh, absolutely. Its credibility is already in question. It's been questioned for years anyways. We think, the whole point system, the way we award the championship, But, this is going to really, we're already at a crossroads, and this could not come at a worse time. This could not come at a much worse time than this.
This was a bad time for this news to come out.
Absolutely. Selfish.
And also,
it was selfish.
And also, Dale Earnhardt, the man himself, he pointed this out years ago. It came out on Reddit today, or it was on Reddit in January and stuff. This was on a Jeremy Mayfield podcast, I believe. He said that Dale Earnhardt told him to save his money because when Brian France takes over, he's going to ruin it.
Wow, that's impressive. That
couldn't have been more accurate.
It continues to impress us.
He's impressing us beyond the grade.
Look at Dale Earnhardt. Still winning 17 years after he died.
Yeah, I'm loving this chat right now, and who's the next CEO and stuff. Yeah. They've mentioned all of us as CEO, Haley Deegan, Danica Patrick as CEO, Richard Petty.
Formally announced my campaign.
David Letterman. Dude, perfect. Dude. Oh, goodness. This chat is awesome right now. Who's the next CEO? You know what? Any of those names, that's not Brian France or Danica Patrick.
I'm all for Carl Edwards.
Hell yeah,
Carl Edwards, to be honest with you.
Good.
Yeah, that guy, he's just very humble. He's just a nice guy in general. I met him in person. He's super, nice, and he seems super humble too.
Edwards is awesome.
He's not doing anything. That's what we need. We need more drivers in charge in the front office positions because they know exactly what the racetrack needs. They know exactly what how to have a good product on the racetrack as far as racing goes. And they also should have a little more saying in the point situation.
I want to throw this name out as an actual realistic suggestion. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
I know I read recently Jeff Gordon's deal with Fox is up after this year.
Oh,
He's still relatively involved with the sport. Like, Tony Stewart's involved, so I give him credit, but Carl Edwards fell off the map. I get the impression Biffle fell off the map. When Kenseth eventually leaves, he's going to fall off the map. But Jeff Gordon's still very much around.
I can tell you why that's not going to happen. He still has a stake in Hendrick. So I don't think that would happen. Isn't there a rule against that? I mean, if you're running the company, you can't run a team within the league, right? Isn't that a rule? Yeah, he still has a stake with Hendrick Motorsports, I believe.
Yeah, doesn't he still own the car? He still owns the cars, right?
He still owns Jimmy Johnson's car.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Well, all right.
I mean, I'm all for it. I mean,
but that would be a good one too.
Yeah,
I agree.
But like I was going to say, you take a look at Tony Stewart, and he's turned Eldora, the dirt derby, he's turned that into a spectacle. That was, and the way that you can tell whenever they put the cameras on him during that weekend, you can tell how much fun he's having providing a racetrack, making that good of a show. Like, you need these drivers who understand how the cars work, how the tracks work. I mean, that's how you're gonna make racing better, is if you take people who understand how things work. You're not gonna make race cars go fast if you're sitting in an office behind a table with 10 other suits.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think we just have to clean house. We have too many yes men, a lot of yes men in this sport who just agree with whatever France says and stuff. Oh, Real Radman's here. What's up? And Ben Kennedy, I guess is another one. Yeah, and I guess Ben Kennedy's another one, because isn't he running something in the truck series as well?
Yep. He's president of trucks, I think. He just started this year.
I mean, why not? Right. Why not have him run? Be but I'm also in the thinking, like, we might need an outsider to run this thing.
Yeah. You think?
Maybe.
I think it's an idea to consider.
It depends on who that outsider is, because with all the rumors of NASCAR being sold or bought by somebody, it depends on who buys them. If like, there's some companies, if you buy it, it's like they're not going to be able to do anything that the France family couldn't do. And I'd argue the France family actually has more of an understanding of NASCAR. But if you're like the rumor was Disney could buy it. If you're a Disney that comes in, you may not know anything about racing, but you're so powerful in the entertainment world, you might know how to spice things up a little. I don't know, for lack of a better word.
The NASCAR level in Kingdom Hearts 3. Just going to say that.
Yeah, there's tons of. See, that's what I'm saying though. I don't know if that's realistic, but there's things like that, So it depends on who buys it and how much power they have and what they're able to bring to the sport. Because if the pro of having a Jeff Gordon or somebody who's deeply involved with the sport, come to power, is that they know what we want, they know what drivers want, they know everything. But then there's also the idea that just a really power media company buys it, and they know what the general public wants, and they have the assets to provide it. So
that's why I always say Marcus Lemonis, because you take a look at you take a look at his involvement in the sport the past few years. After he got mad at Brian in like 2016, I think it was, he still supported the sport. When Suarez lost the Subway sponsorship for one race, Marcus Lemonis stepped up. It's clear he cares. I don't know if he knows how to fix things, but he has the marketing mind to at least maybe turn around NASCAR. I would say he at least cares.
I agree.
It would be something that I would fully support buying.
Oh, yeah. I totally agree. That's a good one.
I guess another person to consider, this probably isn't realistic, but maybe for marketing purposes, possibly, Earnhardt Jr. I'm just saying. I mean, just for marketing purposes, maybe, like, I mean, get the announcement. Other people, they see the announcement like, oh, like an Earnhardt is going to run the sport and stuff. Maybe I might tune in to see, what the changes are and stuff like that. I mean, that's just a possibility. I don't know if he'd be any good, but he'd be the most popular CEO at NASCAR. I guarantee you that.
At least at first. For sure.
Maybe at first, and then maybe depending on whatever he does, on
his approval ratings could only go down from there.
But it depends how far they go down.
I know. Yeah. Hopefully they wouldn't go too far. But
so, bottom line, seems like we need another CEO of NASCAR.
Bye, friends. Sure. See you later.
Yeah,
Or-
Brian
or-
France, I'm
or
sorry.
I'm not going to see you later. Just don't come
It-
back.
Look, you screwed up a lot in NASCAR, but what you did just last
he
night,
screwed up.
you screwed up for sure. Now, if before hasn't ended your CEO career, this should. That is just selfish. Selfish. I mean, you're running a big sport, and you're being selfish about it. Whatever. But so enough with the Brian France talk. We've seen we talked about that good enough, and the chat did too. So guys, Michigan this weekend. I'm gonna go one person at a time. Who's your pick for this weekend, and what about underdog pick as well? Eric.
I have a pick. I don't know if I have an underdog yet, but let me think. So the last Michigan race, that was the one that was won by Boyer, rain shortened, right?
Yeah.
I get Michigan and Fontana mixed up so easily because at the surface they look almost identical. Anyway, but yeah, I think we're going to go back to the big three dominance again this week. We're back at a traditional oval. And one thing I was going to – I don't know. I'm not going to get this. I was going to mention how, when we were talking about Chase Elliott earlier, he's come back, and I would have – if he hadn't won this weekend, I might have considered him as an underdog. But I'll be really interested to see how he runs this weekend at an oval because he's run so well the last 3 weeks at, kind of your non-traditional type of tracks, a road course, Pocono, New Hampshire. You don't really see very many like those. So I want to see how he runs at an oval. But I think Kevin Harvick will be the guy to beat. He barely lost to Boyer before, so I'm going to go with Harvick. Underdog pick. Part of me wants to say Daniel Suarez for the second week in a row. He ran top 5 at Watkins Glen. He ran top 5 at Pocono. I think Daniel Suarez, watch out for him. He might get another top 5. He could point his way in. You never know.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Kamikaze?
Well, I would have said Truex if he hadn't been so slow at Michigan just because of how he just murdered everyone at California. But I am going to go back to the big three, and I think Harvick gets vindication. Vindication. He's had 6 wins. Vindication from earlier this year. And my underdog pick, I'm going to go with Eric Jones just because he almost had this race won last year. So I'm going to go Jones. And don't forget, everyone, Mid-Ohio's this week. Best track in the series. Wait.
For me, for NASCAR Heat 2, it's not. All right, Darian.
Oh man, shocked the world last week, or I guess I shocked YouTube. The whole Chase Elliott prediction and stuff, and just made a video on that. So go check it out if you want to. Michigan. It's seems like the contenders here are pretty straightforward. I want to say Chase Elliott. I really do. And I believe in this whole avalanche effect where after you get your first career win, you start rattling off all these wins and stuff. Your confidence just goes through the air. You don't think about that. You don't have to think about this anymore and stuff. You just can go out there and run and just completely dominate. That's not going to happen this week. Chase Elliott, he'll definitely get a top 5 finish, but he's not going to win this week. I also want to mention, I want to say Kyle Larson so bad. And that's still my championship pick. I know it sounds ridiculous. That's still my championship pick. But from what I'm seeing from him, he's going to go full Tony Stewart 2011. He's going to win. He's going to rattle off all these wins in the playoffs. He's not going to get a regular season win, though. He's obviously going to point race his way into the playoffs. He seems like he'll probably be locked in by the time we hit Indianapolis, the regular season finale. He'll run well this week. He's not going to get it done. As far as the big three goes, definitely going to be contenders, though. I don't see Truex running as well this weekend, though. They're inconsistent. They've just been inconsistent in some races this season. I think Kamikaze can point that out, too. Kyle Busch, he'll definitely be a contender and stuff. He'll definitely be a contender this week. He's not going to win, though. And Kevin Harvick is going to battle it out with Ryan Blaney, and Ryan Blaney's going to continue the success for the young guns. He's going to get that first win of the season.
Oh wow! All right.
Was that your
okay with that?
Was that your pick or your underdog pick? Because I can't believe that'd be your actual pick.
No, Ryan Blaney's going to win it.
I didn't laugh
Wow.
at you last
All right.
week, but I'm gonna laugh at you this week a little. Like Ryan Blaney's been garbage the last few races.
Did you
Brian-
watch
if
the
Brian
Michigan
Blaney
race? You
wins-
didn't watch the last Michigan race, man.
That was
He
like,
was
that
up
was like
front.
that was months ago. His team, Penske, has fallen
Months
off a cliff. Penske
Too
has
bad.
fallen off a cliff. And Brad Keselowski ran 20th yesterday for no reason. Like
That's
they've
his
fallen
fault.
off a cliff.
That's his fault. That's not Blaney's fault.
Blaney was there with him.
Well, that's a road course. You can't really blame him there. Blaney's gonna win this week,
If
folks.
he wins this week, I will fully adhere to you.
I was just gonna say, if he wins this week,
But he
you
is
might as well
not
just
winning.
agree to his
You
pick
better
every
not be
week.
making
I'm
no
like, okay.
promises over there.
Yeah.
I've lost my beard a few times the past couple of years.
Well-
if Blaney wins this week, I'm definitely gonna make another video.
You can call me out, make fun of my family. I don't care, but
I'm not gonna do that. Whoa,
He's
whoa,
not-
whoa.
Make fun of your family.
What are you talking about?
Hang
Make
on
fun
a
of
second. When did this get personal?
Don't at home. Just enjoy the stop. Jesus, this podcast.
It's
Getting
no more
wild here. All right,
Yeah.
so
I can't wait to hear
My-
your underdog pick.
Oh, underdog pick. Why would Blaney be an underdog pick?
Well, if Blaney's
he's
your
in
pick,
he's in Penske equipment.
If-
he can
if
win.
Blaney-
He can win every week if he wanted to.
if
He just doesn't.
Ryan Blaney's your pick to win, I'll bet Gray Galding's your underdog.
He's still racing.
I don't know, but he's even if he's not, he's probably your underdog at
Wait.
this
did I just hear Greg Golding?
Yeah, this
I'm
guy.
leaving again.
point.
Okay, so now to my underdog pick. Hendrick, they've turned the corner. They definitely turned the corner. These past couple of weeks, Chase Elliott most notably, but William Byron and Alex Bowman both have had. William Byron got a top 10 yesterday at a road course. Not
did.
bad, and got an 8th place finish. Alex Bowman, 3rd place finish at Pocono. Not bad either. So I guess with all the history of the 88 team success at Michigan, Alex Bowman is definitely an underdog this week.
Okay.
I honestly would pick him ahead of Blaney to win the race.
Why? No way. Come on. Now. Watch. I hope Blaney shows out this week. I just hope he does so I can put that in another edit. That'll just be so hilarious. I'm just hoping.
Uh,
What if we ran out the season with 15 different winners?
yeah.
That'd be awesome.
All right. So my pick, my obvious big 3 pick, Kevin Harvick. My actual pick for this week, I want Larson. He's been good at Michigan. He had a little struggle in the June race. Obviously, he has spin, but that you could be good at a racetrack and then maybe still struggle still. But I feel Kyle Larson, if he's gonna turn his luck around, obviously with the Chevys, Michigan is definitely on his calendar. He has it circled on his calendar that he could get that win, that first win this season. So I'm gonna say Kyle Larson, my underdog, and he's been good at Michigan as well. Paul Menard.
Ooh.
Paul Menard.
Yeah, he has been good.
He's ran well at Michigan before. Paul Menard is my underdog.
It was kind of pit strategy though this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, but even back then too, he seemed like he was top 5, top 10 running. I'm gonna say Paul Menard.
He's got the car. I'm just
Yeah.
These are so good.
He's got the car.
He's got the car. So good.
Mm.
Oh man.
Well,
You see, Kyle Larson, that was going to be my second option. But
I hope Larson wins. I'd be excited if Larson can get a win. Continue this good vibes of first time winners for the year.
yeah.
It's been a while since Larson won, and most people like him.
Oh yeah, I like Larson. He almost won Chicagoland. Obviously how that went down, but they got some good racetracks coming up still, and I feel Michigan, this is their opportunity to get that win this season that they've been wanting, and hopefully that also is a second week in a row for Chevy's, because Chevy's been a struggle for the most part this season, but it seems like a few teams, I should say, like you mentioned, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, he's been up there a little at times. Alex Bowman, William Byron, they've been finding some speed in the Chevys in the last 3 weeks too. So I want Larson to win it, man. I want to see him in victory lane at Michigan again. Get Michigan win number 4. It's not going to be 4 straight wins, but 4 out of 5, that's still a pretty good record for Michigan, to be honest with you.
that's Dale Jr. Talladega early 2000s numbers right there.
Yeah, I mean, it is. So I'm going to say, yeah, Kyle Larson, my pick. Big three, Kevin Harvick, underdog, Paul Menard.
Good picks.
Yeah. All right. So I think we're going to call it a podcast here. I want to thank you guys, Eric, Darian, Kamikaze. I want to thank you guys for joining in today on the very first ever debut of the weekly podcast with truly myself. But I want you guys in chat. Sorry about the crash we had earlier and had a couple of issues, but some of you guys have stayed in there. I want to thank you guys for the continued support. Make sure you follow these guys too. Subscribe, follow them on social media.
Also, just really quick, our NASCAR Weekly podcast will be on Eric's channel on Wednesday. So just wanted to say that.
They got a weekly podcast too. Eric does too. So watch those podcasts. It's a good podcast as well. Obviously, I'm still a rookie. This is only my first show, but they've been doing this for a while. So watch some of their podcasts as well. It's pretty good. But guys, like I said again, thank you guys for showing up tonight. We'll have you again on the show very soon. But until then, for you guys in chat, the viewers, it's time to head out for the night. Thank you so much for watching the very first show. Next Monday, we will be back for episode number 2. We'll have some new guests on as well. We'll be talking about the Michigan race and obviously how the race went down. Obviously, we'll talk about maybe some more Brian France. Who knows? And obviously, we'll preview. We'll do our picks for Bristol as well. But until then, you guys have a very good night. Justin Lombard, a.k.a. N2SC4R. Take care. Bye-bye.